I have been calling myself today, just laughing at myself, Thoroughly Amateur Productions. This video is a thoroughly amateur production. And what I want to talk about in this video is the Glencairn glass. It's a whiskey glass. We'll get into all that in a minute. In Scotland, and I'm going to fake a Scottish accent as best I can. In Scotland, they'd say Glencairn. I'm a Texan. Scottish ancestors, yes, but I'm a Texan. It's a Glencairn glass. Emphasis on the first syllable. You always have to put the emphasis on the right syllable. You know, we Southerners, we say Detroit instead of Detroit. We say Tennessee instead of Tennessee. And various other things, we put the emphasis in a little different place. Not long after I started drinking whiskey, I went down to the Total Wine Uptown store here in Albuquerque, and I didn't want but one Glencairn glass. I have no need for more than one. All they had was a 4-pack, and that's what I have. There are two sides, and I'm trying to see so I can tell what you're seeing. There are two sides that look like this. There's the other one. There's this side. Then there's this side. And on the top, you get this. And already, of course, you can see the shape of the Glencairn glass. We open it up, and there are the four. And that's what a Glencairn glass looks like. It's got the thick base here. It's got this flower shape wider here, and then it narrows toward the top. Now, why did they design it the way they did? Well, I'm not an expert. The base is the one thing that isn't necessarily as good as it could be. Let me see if I can put this where you can see. No, yeah, you can't see. So I'm going to use my hand. We'll pretend it's the tabletop. Picking it up by the base can be awkward, especially if it's down like, you know, if you're reaching down to it. So I normally just pick it up this way with my right hand and then take it in my left because I'm left-handed. But once you have the base like this, it's just natural. You can hold it with 2 fingers. You can balance it like that or like that. I don't recommend it. You don't want to drop a piece of glass that has this important use to it. But it makes it easy to swirl. You can do this with it if you want to. It's easy to tip back and drink. So the base, once you have it in hand, is just perfect. You know, it's not this narrow stem. You're not holding the base like this. It's a natural grip, although I've seen people hold it like that, which is, for me, is not natural. Then this wide part here, I don't know if you can hear it ding, but it's good glass. This wide part allows a broader surface area for the whiskey, which encourages evaporation, which then encourages the aroma to come up off of the whiskey. And that's why I generally fill it just to right about here. You know, I could fill it up here if I wanted to. Why would I want to? That defeats the purpose of this particular glass. If you're just going to drink a huge glug of whiskey, then get a rocks glass. You know, get a water glass. And, you know, if you just want shots, get shot glasses. This is for evaluating whiskey. It's for savoring whiskey. And I want to do another video, if I don't forget, about how I go about doing that. But right now we're talking about the glass. Then, so it's wide here to increase evaporation, and then it narrows right here. Turn my hands right. And that concentrates the vapors so that when you nose the whiskey, when you smell it, when you sniff it, it concentrates what you're getting so you can get more out of it. When I first started drinking whiskey back in September, all I had was a rocks glass, and I didn't know one thing or another. But you take whiskey that is, you can smell it, you can taste it in the rocks glass, and then put it in the Glencairn, and it's a whole new experience. You're getting so much more out of the whiskey. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this Balcones Brimstone Scrub Oak Smoked Corn Whiskey. I'm just going to put a little bit in here to show you what I do and how the Glencairn glass works. I pick it up by the top and I tilt it a little. For me, it's easier that way. And that is not near up to the wide part of the glass. But you can see how it gives a wider surface area. You can see how easy it is to swirl the whiskey. You can see nosing it is natural. Now, the only sort of unnatural thing about the Glencairn glass is when you drink, watch how far I have to tip my head back to get a sip. That is, some people have said antisocial, you're doing this. Well, if you're drinking out of a rocks glass, you got that big glass right in front of your face. So that's blocking your view of everybody. If you're in a social setting, nobody is going to mind you tipping that glass back to get that sip. But it is a sipping glass. It lends itself naturally to a sip because as you're tilting back, the whiskey's slowly coming up and it hits your mouth and you can control how much you're getting. And you can get a small sip and do all the things with it that go into tasting whiskey. So that is the Glencairn glass. Thoroughly amateur, no expert here, but that's my glass and why I like it.